Please like, subscribe, and be sure to click that bell button for regular and exciting indie film content and your chance to be the first to engage with the Lift-Off Global Network of Film Festivals as we embark on launching the careers of the filmmakers of tomorrow.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. Today we are joined by the audience choice winners from the Amsterdam Lift-Off Film Festival. I'm Natalie.
I'm Toby.
And we're hosting this stream with our filmmakers that you can see on screen. So that's enough from us. Let's pass it straight over to our filmmakers, find out who they are and what their projects are. But before I throw it over to you, Lucas, I just want to say that the chat room is now open. So if you have any questions for our filmmakers, please feel free to put them in there. Jasmine says hi with a heart emoji already, which is great, and yay, congratulations. So I'll be doing that if more comments come through. So please, please, please use that system. But let's throw it over to our filmmakers. And Lucas, do you want to introduce us to who you are, what your project was, and then we'll find out from the rest of the group too.
Hello guys, hope everybody can hear me. I am Lucas, I am half French, half Swiss. Born and raised in Geneva, living in London now, almost for 10 years. Nice. And yeah, presenting my film, Sweat Yourself today.
Perfect. I can't wait to find out more. And it is the first one that we will be viewing in this session. Anil, yes. Over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Anil Rimal and my film Bonsai is here. And I'm representing both of the director over here. And here says Susila.
Hi, I'm Shashila. I'm the executive producer of the movie The Bonsai and also the writer of the movie.
Perfect, thank you. And we're going to be sharing your trailer with everyone later today as well. And then finally we've got Stacie. Hi, Stacie.
Hi, I am Stacie Frazier, owner of A Geek Production. My film is Studio Sessions, and it's actually a documentary film about studio sessions.
Amazing. Well, we're going to be finding out a lot more about all of your projects, but we're going to be starting with yours, Lucas. So as I get your film loaded up my side, could you please fill us in on the inspiration behind this film and why you wanted to make it?
So basically, hopefully I'm not going to talk too much about it, but basically I bought myself a Super 8 camera early last year. And I didn't know if it was actually working or not, as everything that is analog like this, you never really know until you actually try and expose, one roll or a few frames. So I actually went ahead, bought a little Super 8 roll, and instead of just, shooting anything in whatever, I decided to write a little script and put a team together to actually shoot it. So that's really how this whole little story came up. Then I would say the theme is really about it's something that I do a lot. I'm sure many other people do too. It's really constantly fighting with your own body, trying to lose weight, being more muscular. So I really wanted to do a little lightweight depiction of what it is to run after your ideal body. Mm-hmm. So I wanted something pretty absurd, pretty fun and quite extravagant in a way, and by using extremes also, extremes of like how they express themselves, being really over the top, but for something that I think the core is quite a sensitive subject. So yeah, I think that would be how I could describe this film.
And why did you decide to make it a silent film?
So the Super 8 cameras, I think 99% of them are extremely loud. They're really not made for production levels. There are some you can make them work somehow, but mine isn't. I have a background in sound and music quite a lot, so it's something that I do as a job too. And I just thought that it would be really fun to actually put that aside completely and just focus on what's happening. And then I was like, okay, let's use intertitles, those cards in between where they can, express themselves. And I just thought, I love old films. I've watched a lot of, very old film, like as we were just talking prior to this live stream. And I just never seen anyone swearing on title card.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just a fun, stupid little idea where I was like, okay, just give it a try. People saying the worst words ever on those really old school looking cars. I thought it was just, just fun there and everything put together. That's how it came up. To be honest with you, I wanted music at first, but decided to actually keep it like this to really go all the way, like really on an extreme. And I was really not expecting to go any festival. I really sent it to like 10. So it was, a great surprise that people can actually still, I guess, enjoy 4 minutes of film without any sound at all, because it's really not done. It's really never anywhere.
Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
It takes your attention because it's so quiet. Like usually you're usually used to having your senses just being, exploded from every angle, and to just have something which is just visual is quite a nice change of pace, really.
I think you mentioned a lot at the beginning with like the Super 8 camera. You didn't know if it was going to work. They're all of them have some problems. One like with those old cameras from the 80s and 90s. My Super 8's from the 80s, and it has problems all the time. Like the batteries just fall out the bottom because I can't screw the thing back on. But I think it's very exciting that you decided, instead of just testing the camera, to make something. So when it went to the lab and you got it back, that must have been such an exciting moment to see. Did it work?
Yeah, so happy. It was such great news because, again, like it was just one roll. So that means that we've done one take of every shot. Like, there were no, I think there's just a couple shots where we could allow ourselves to do a second take. So it was really a fun process, but really, we had to be quite methodical. Because we really wanted to, if there's something out of this camera, let's hope that we can make something. We can edit and put a little short together. Which I can basically make sure I can mention that too. There is that competition based in London called Straight 8. Is that what you were about to talk about? Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
So literally, I adore shooting film. If I could shoot film, Super 16, at least I would just do all that. It's just such a different process, and it's just magical. So I wanted to be able to afford a tiny bit of film, which was the cheapest nowadays, which is Super 8. Still really not cheap at all in the end, but I've heard somehow at the same point that I got my camera that this competition existed, and I've been in touch. I've been following for a while, and funny that you mentioned it. I finally entered that competition a few weeks ago, so I have until the 8th of February now to submit, which is really something. But basically, that shoot, Sweat Yourself, has been a great exercise, because that was really the idea behind was, let's do one take of everything in order, and that's actually the film. 95% of Sweat Yourself is shot in order, and if I show you the roll, it worked pretty well. Obviously, then it's been scanned to be able to be edited on digital, to add those intertitles, the credits, and all that. But getting there, so that was a little confidence boost for what's to come now. I think. Hopefully.
Good luck with the Straight 8 competition. If you get it, the first time you'll see it is in the theatre, which is super exciting. I went to they had a BFI screening last year, and it was completely sold out. And it's like 250 seats, completely sold out for these Straight 8 films. So Ed, who runs the festival, and Alex, they're both great. So good luck.
They're great guys. Hopefully we'll turn out okay. We'll see.
So you mentioned that you shot it in chronological order, almost, with 1 or 2 takes, depending on how much film you had left. What was your biggest learning curve? What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned from doing this?
I would say it's really trying to find comedy in something that is, I guess, not so comical at first. My favorite films, and I think my background and what I tend to want to write, at least about, is some more, I think, darker subjects, and with a less fun comic atmosphere, I would say. So doing this was actually really great exercise in that sort, I would say. I love the idea of finding something funny and something more sad, I would say, or a bit more less fun. So I guess that's also where the comic is always from at first, but that's I think, the biggest learning curve,
Is it-
if that answers the question.
Has it given you any ideas of sort of what do you want with the next project? Do you want to make it darker? Do you want to make it more comedic? Like, what did you sort of learn?
No, for now, I wanna step out a bit of step away of comedy.
Yeah.
If I if I can say that's really comedy, but definitely something I'd love to do in the future again. I had such fun. Like, you know, my little team was just friends, actors too. So, you know, it was just a fantastic half day of shoot.
It did look like it was a crazy day running around filming. So as long as you're smiling at the end of the project, then it's done what it needs to do. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about that you wanted to enter a straight A competition, or the fact that you have. But apart from that project, what else are you working on? What is next for you?
I am working on a actual real, proper short film
Okay.
that I'm hoping to shoot back home in Switzerland this summer. Still working on the script now. It's something very different. I feel more of a film noir kind of atmosphere. A lot about friendship and treason, betrayal. So very, you see, very different from sweaty stuff. That would be my main big project right now. Obviously, apart from the Australia competition, which is also going to be a lot of work. That's going to be a lot of work. Even though it doesn't really look like it, it's a lot of prep at least. Yeah, and then, a few projects there and there. As I said, I do sound and music, so I always hope to get sound designing or scoring projects on the side. And yeah, these are what's coming for me now.
And I think when we get to the Bonsai, the sound design in that project is amazing. And the contrast of hearing yours completely silent to then hearing that you're actually a sound engineer and you make music, it just blows my mind a little bit. But it's one of the most important parts to help tell that story, to reflect the emotions. You know all of this, but it's for those that are listening that maybe are sitting here thinking about making their first film. Sound is often forgotten, or it's the last thought, and it can't be. It needs to be, especially when you're on set with a boom. You can't have any interference with the sound. So I guess that's just something to mention as we're here.
Totally, it is half the movie. People think or give more attention to visuals, but like audio is half the film.
Yeah.
I would even tend to say maybe 60%, but
You are a sound engineer.
But no,
I guess I'm biased. Yeah.
But it's true. When we're sitting here as festival programmers going through all of the content, if a film has bad sound, we physically can't put it in the cinema space. So you've just knocked yourself out of the competition. So it's really interesting. Documentaries have there's more of a threshold for documentaries than there is for narrative, especially documentaries that are on the fly. But it's just something to be ultra careful about for everyone.
Completely. We can very much more accept low quality visuals.
Yeah.
I'm sure when you're streaming something, you're watching on your TV, like, if it's not great quality, you're gonna be like, yeah, I still want to watch it. I'm gonna go for it. But if the sound is awful, you cannot stand it. It's not possible. Like if it's saturated, if it just, if it's just low quality, you cannot enjoy anything. So I think that says a lot. Just this.
So what would you say? 60% of the film is sound? Yeah.
Yeah. just to say, I believe a bit more than the half.
Thank you so much. I think that's such a nice way to end this discussion. From everyone on the call, and for you, Toby, as well, is there any questions for Lucas from what you've heard?
I don't really have a question, more of a statement.
Okay, go for it.
I think that a film that's silent, I think that's actually one of the most awesome ideas. I've seen a few on streaming, and it forces you to think and create your own sound in your mind. And I watched a film like that where it was no talking, and you just use your imagination kind of. And I think that's pretty great. That's great, Lucas.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I agree with you. It's allowing, for you to imagine more. Yeah, that's very true. Thank you.
Any other other final thoughts? No? Okay, well, thank you. We're going to move on now to the bonsai. So I'm just going to load that up in a way that we will hear and see the trailer, and we will stay muted until that trailer's finished. But I will, once... Ramil, why don't you tell us about the inspiration as I get that done? So take it away. Ramil, do you want to tell us about the idea behind the bonsai?
Well, yeah. Our film, the bonsai, like we first wanted to present it metaphorically, like representing the beauty and like the diversity through this film, and that's how we take the title. And even as we are working for the different able people, so we always like this having discussion on the stories and the concept, how to make more impactful movie, so that the story of the movie can give something to the community and even to the audience. So but we always like discussed to make a commercial film with the information or with the realism in the society, and that is specially targeted for a certain community. So we came up with this idea, and first we wanted to make it for a feature film, but we got obstructed with the earthquake in Nepal, and again for 2 or 3 years. So we have different priorities, and after that, even we have like included the top-notch commercial people and the crew members in the film. So again, for that also, for the schedule, we have to wait for a bit more, and even the research on the psychological aspect of the child, whom we like we included her, she has never done in the screen and like that. So for that, we have to work more time for the research thing.
This is one of the points I really want to talk about, but I think before we delve a little bit further into that, let's play the trailer and then we'll come back.
छोरी 2-4 दिनदेखि स्ट्रेसमा छ, अलि झर्किरहेछ कि तिमीले यसो कुराकानी गरेर सम्झाइदेऊ न।
खोजिरहेछु मेरो औचित्य, मेरो अस्तित्व कसैले सम्झाएर ठिक हुन्छ र?
छोरो कहाँ टोलाको? खाना सेलाइसक्यो, छिटो खाऊ।
कसले निको पार्ने मेरो व्यथा, कसले सुनिदिने मेरो कथा? तनावमा टोलाइरहन्छु, मौनतामा प्रश्न गरिरहन्छु, प्रकृतिलाई, आफन्तलाई अनि समाजलाई।
तँलाई पनि जिन्दगीभरलाई बोझ भयो है?
डाक्टर अङ्कल, हजुरले जहाँदेखिको पनि निको पारिदिनुहुन्छ।
कहिलेसम्म हुने सबैको बोझ? The Bonsai,
Precious gift of nature.
Okay, so everyone who was watching on YouTube just got to see the trailer. It looks fantastic, and what you were talking about there with the young actress, I just want to understand a little bit more your process of how you found her, how you found her as your main actor, and your rehearsal period.
It's like we're working with the community where she belongs, and during the research of the film, but we had made a documentary on the particular community, and even we went and stayed with nearly 14-15 families of the particular community, so that we can come out with the real thing, what they thought about the society and what they perceive about the social their like perception towards the society too. So eventually, our first concept was like before, while it was a feature film, there was a boy child,
Okay.
and the time passed, and he became adult. That was quite out of the script. So we again wait for nearly 1 year for Benisha to be ready. Like she was not ready. She was a shy girl, and she was not ready for like quick for 5 or 6 months. So we have to extend more 6 months for like going with her, staying with her, like talking with her, so to be comfortable. So it took time because we wanted her to play the role because she was the perfect match with our script. And even though we have to modify the original script as per her
her characters
Yeah.
and her personality. We modified the main character that was a boy child to her. So it's like merging of the character and merging of the story so that it comes naturally to her, and getting her training to face the screen, getting her training to do acting. So it took a long time to make her prepare to do the role.
Well, I think you did it beautifully. Seeing her,
Yeah.
I know for the audience who are just seeing her in the trailer, but having watched the film, I feel like you managed to capture all of the emotions. And that's why I was so keen to understand how you had worked together and your process. So thank you for sharing that story.
How did she find it? Was it her first acting experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she going to make more films now? Does she feel more confident in front of the camera, do you think?
Yeah, well, we even her family, and even we got amazed while seeing her during the shooting and her response. It was amazing, and she's very much fond of animes, cartoon, Korean films like that, and she spends much time. Watching those movies, and it's very fun of working on movies, and that's why we are working on the script for the Bonsai too.
Yes, and she'll be in it again? She'll be
Yeah,
perfect.
we also think like that. We're thinking like that, and she's also at another point she has to be ready.
Perfect. This leads me on to going back to what we were saying about sound, because although they only got a very short snippet of it in that trailer, the film has a beautiful score. So who was behind the score in your film?
Talking about the music of the movie, we have like two different part in the music. One is focus on the songs and the music behind, so which was one part, and one was the background score. We had like we as this was the debut movie of Anil. He has always have a dream to work with the best of the best in the country, in Nepal.
Oh, good.
So we had New Bajrachari. He's one of the top music directors in Nepal. So we were working closely with him to have this sense of he was the movie like for 8-10 times before we start discussing about the music. So the music was like also played in a way to integrate the emotions so that he can understand the emotions, he can feel the emotion, and then design the music afterward. So yeah, it was as you were saying, it was a lot of intentionally making it more complex for us so that we can produce a very good movie out of it.
And even while writing lyrics, the lyricist of different song in the movie, he is a very veteran lyricist in Nepal, and while writing for the film, saying the acting of the girl, so he got tears in his eyes. And even we have seen while making this movie, each and every person who contributed into different music, like for sound designing, that was my very good friend Vinay Adhikari, and for background score, he's like a very veteran music scorer, Iman Bikram Saha, and even it was a it was a huge contribution of the editor also. He himself is a director, filmmaker, and musician, and he used to edit from his wheelchair. So it was a combined contribution of all our team members to make this movie the best with like technically sound and from every aspect.
And I think you did extremely well, and I'm excited to hear that the Bonsai 2 is in the making. The final question from me, and then I'll open it up to everyone else on the call, is if you could give one piece of advice to a filmmaker, what would it be? Who's starting?
Yeah, definitely. Because for this film also, I was already working on the commercial, promotional market in Nepal. But we are even working for the immersive technology for to be more inclusive towards the differently abled people, and including them as a filmmaker and including them in a crew member. So we are working like that. So I want everyone, we have to change the paradigm of the movie making process, and how the movie, the information, or the entertainment will goes to the society. So that was always we also wanted to make our first step like this, and we've felt it. It's very impactful during Lift-Off Film Festival also. Good. Because the audience are filmmaker, and the response for the Bonsai was huge. Like, it's not a commercial movie. Till production and post production, we have very easy making the film, but while onto the market, and after that, whatever we felt that there is difficulties, but there is huge potentials and possibilities of this sort of movies if you can work and bring it back to the audience. So that will be my suggestion.
Thank you so much for sharing your story as well. Lucas, Stacie, Toby, do you have any questions for the Bonsai team? Nope.
I do.
Oh, go for it.
So have you had an opportunity to show it? You were talking about the community in Nepal. Have you had an opportunity to show it to them? Have you had sort of a response from them as to how the film's gone?
You said to other community, internationally?
In
in
Nepal, the
Nepal.
Community, yeah.
No, unfortunately, we were in the middle of post-production during the COVID time. Yep. So we were actually about to premiere movie in the charity show over there in Nepal. But due to COVID, we have to shift it. So it's still there. So we are planning it in 2024 over there in Nepal. But it's going very well with the over here in UK and even different European countries. We have 8 in-person festival presentation of the movie, and it was a huge response. And even over here in Kent, we had done it to different community, different film festivals, a different pub and different college. So we're very much excited to present our movie in Nepal.
Fantastic. Thank you. What a good question to end on. Okay, Stacie, it's over to you, and you already have someone in the chat rooting for you. The All Tales says congratulations to all, but Geek, I can see you. So, there you go. I'm going to throw it over to you now to do your introduction as I get your film loaded up. But you do have to unmute yourself. There you
Sorry. I'm Stacie, and I am from Philadelphia in the United States. And my film is called Studio Sessions. And it kind of came about, I kind of spoke on it earlier that, I wanted to be an A&R originally. And like, I'm just such a big fan of hip hop lyricism and the culture as a whole. So I was trying to, I've always wanted to discover, as an A&R, discover that legendary artist, not just, you know, somebody that pops at the moment, but like someone who's going to be around a while. And I was getting offered weird A&R jobs to sell label meetings. I didn't want to do that. So I started creating this content to kind of showcase these people who I thought were very talented. So it's kind of like A&Ring through film, essentially.
Yeah.
And I've been in, you know, trying to be in this industry, the music industry originally. I've been to lots of studio sessions, and it's just something that's just such an awesome process to watch, because every artist has their own, you know, their own way of recording. Some people like lots of people in the studio with them. Some people don't want anybody there at all. You know, some people just, and it's, you know, they have their different ways of, you know, the process of recording music or coming up with a song or coming up with a beat. And I wanted to highlight that. And I noticed too that there's a specific relationship between artist and producer that is very important to the music making process, because honestly, a producer can make or break an artist, and vice versa. An artist can make or break a producer as well. So to see, you know, I have some that's like, you know, I know what he likes as an artist and I create beats that way, things like that. And I just thought that was just such an awesome process. And then sometimes you'll hear something on the radio and you go, I was there. I was there for that. When they made that song, I saw how many takes they had to do and everything. And I just think it's a fantastic process. And I just wanted to create this to show everybody what I mean.
This leads me on to my question. The main question I have is about the structure of the documentary. So when you decided you were going to make this into a film, did you have a plan of how this film is going to unfold and the kind of arc of the story? Or did you just go out and take as many interviews as you could and go and talk to so many people and then get the footage back and then be like, whoa, what can we do with all of this? Because there's two types of documentary filmmakers. So
actually, they began as episodes.
Okay.
And that's how I started out. There was literally people who I wanted specifically to do their studio session. And it could be people, you know, that I knew from the industry, producers that I knew. And I really kind of chose certain people. Now, my associate producer, All Tales, who's there, kind of suggested that I put it into a feature-length film, take all of the episodes and put them together. And, you know, I kind of had to figure that out because I also do all the editing. So I'm like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of help from my team. I have an awesome production team, and they're a lot better at this than I am. So I'm also learning, you know, as I go along with this. And just with the combination of everyone, this is how the film turned out. And even when I thought I was done with it, you know, for me, I have to take, you know, I might step away. I took a little trip to Georgia to visit a good friend, and just to kind of get my creative juices flowing again, because they were gone. And I came up with the concept of adding like a spoken word throughout the film. It kind of describes, I would say it's a way to describe the emotions or feelings of the artist and producer and their passion for the art of making music. And so that's how it all came together. Just really a combination of my team, you know, kind of helping me along and giving me suggestions.
What sort of time scale are we looking at here from the start of the structure, the first filming days to now it's been made and completed? How many, was that a couple of years or?
Yeah, I began this project in 2021,
Okay.
I believe, 2020. Like around the beginning of 2021, I would say, is
Yeah.
when I began. And I actually finished it because, I received an email from you guys. And I had put it away because I was working on another documentary. And I'm like, I got to get this finished. Like, I literally had like a week to finish everything that I was trying to fix. And it worked because it forced me to complete this film.
Deadlines.
And
Oh, we all need them.
it definitely forced me to complete it and, put it out there and just now. So you guys reached out October, I believe. That's when it got finished.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. So
Tight turnaround.
quite tight. You've got some people in the chat room here, so I'm just going to share some of the messages that they put. Jasmine Lawrence says, "Go studio sessions." You also mentioned something about Philly, and so she says that you were really great at showcasing the city of Philadelphia as well. And then Serena Walker says, "I love the feeling of being behind the scene while with the artist and the process." So you've got an audience for your film already, and I can just feel all those other people that want to watch this project. So.
Yeah. Very immersive. I felt you really did a fantastic job of bringing us behind the scenes and making us feel like what it's like to be in this world. So, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How has it been received from your community? Did you do well? Maybe because you finished it a month ago, maybe you haven't done like a big screening for your team and the artists yet. But is that something that's coming up soon?
Well, I actually, I've made a lot of trailers for it, so people are really excited about it. I push it a lot on my social media and these other sites as well. And I would say because, again, my city, Philadelphia, has some, and I will argue with any state in the United States that my city has some of the best lyricists to me. And I mean, so many. And so it's like, I think that doing this and representing my city and representing good quality artists, like really great artists, and kind of going back, their story a little bit before they got to this process. And everybody's kind of been excited about it. Like they really want to see the, like it was stated in the comments, they really want to see the behind the scenes and how these songs got made and how, and then they're available. They can listen to these songs, but I gave you guys the behind the scenes of these songs getting made.
Yeah.
Who would your ideal sort of audience and demographic be? Would you like to sort of like use this film to make it more known, sort of like nationally, internationally, about the Philadelphia music scene? Do you think that's something you're looking for?
I would say, I'm much as I love the lyricism in my city, I'm not going to, just stop there. My next studio sessions, I'd like to get more into, some R&B sessions,
Nice.
and maybe others, people in other states. I don't want to really just focus on Philadelphia, but Philly, of course, was going to be the first.
Yeah.
I have to represent. So, but I'm not going to stay, it's not going to be a thing where it's just only going to be Philly. It's going to be, behind the scenes of the creation of music and that bond between producer and artist. It doesn't really matter. I'm not even really set on a genre, but I started with hip hop because that's the genre I was in when I was, kind of taking some steps into the industry. And I have a really deep love for it. So, but I like to explore more and, give some other options and expand the horizons of it. I want to see the creation of all music. And everybody's way of anyone's artist or any artist or producer's process of making music. I just think is so awesome.
Asia Smith, who's also in the chat room here, has said it really makes you appreciate the process to be able to capture this raw creative energy. It's exactly what you're talking about. So there you go. I guess my next question is more about, you mentioned that you're already tied to another project, another documentary. Is this in the same world? Is this another personal project, or is it a commission? What is this documentary?
This next documentary that I'm currently working on now, because I had made a switch. I put that one on the shelf and got back to studio sessions. Yeah. So now that studio sessions is completed, I'm still in, the pre-production portion of it. I still have interviews to do and, things of that nature. But it's not so much the process of making music for this film. It's still within that genre of hip hop because of who the artist is. I was kind of assigned this project, and this is looking to tell his story, because there's always a story behind why you make music and why you make the type of music or what you're saying in your music. It comes from your story. So that's kind of what I'm doing, what I'm focusing more, not so much on the process of music, but the creation of this artist and from his beginnings till now, and the things that he's gone through. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Making the Band, but he was made by P. Diddy to him and the crew walk across to another bureau in New York to get him cheesecake. And it's always been like a running joke, but to have to come home to that and have to deal with people saying, oh my gosh, you walked for this guy for cheesecake. And he actually kind of flipped it around, and he has his own brand of cheesecakes now.
There you go. Seeing the opportunity.
So it's just highlighting, his story, everything he's gone through, the highs, the lows, everything. But again, it's really just telling the story of artists.
But isn't that so great that you followed your passion and now you've got commissions coming your way? That's exactly how you should be getting the work that you want to do. So well done. And I think that's such a positive note to also come to an end on. Lucas, the Bonsai team, do you have any questions for Stacie? Do you have any final thoughts for Stacie? Well, in that case, lots of thumbs up all around. But I just think hearing all of your stories today, I'm just going to end studio sessions, but hearing all of your stories, what you've been through to get your projects to where they are today, that they're all on the festival circuit, they've all had success in their own way, and that you're all onto something new. It's just so inspiring, and it just keeps those creative juices kicking in myself as well, makes me want to continue. So thank you for sharing your stories. And it was great to hear how you all sort of adapted your work, like as you were going along, and you found out different ways to tell your stories. And I think that's so inspiring, for young creatives. And well done. You should be all very, very proud of yourselves. Absolutely. And thank you to our audience as well, who are all cheering along the films, but especially studio sessions. So thank you, Stacie, for sharing that you were going to be on here today. Do we have any final thoughts from you guys before we jump off?
Thank you very much, Natalie and Fran and
Toby.
Global Network. Because you guys, even for our movie, you guys are so much because we have been, we have 1 year back, we have decided to go online through only Lift-Off Festival for a year, for 2023 through. So that was meeting you in London.
Manchester, in London and in Manchester, absolutely.
I even, especially that was in the Close-Up studio in London in 2022 December.
Yeah,
Close-Up cinema. That is how we decided to go 1 year for the Lift-Off Festival, and it was a fantastic moment with you guys, because we got opportunity to talk with the different filmmakers and as an audience, and how they perceived the bonsai, and how they perceived us as a filmmaker, and even for us, the filmmaker from Nepal, who was working here in UK and to promote the local film from Nepal, and making it a local film from UK, because we premiered here in Kent, and even it was a very nice moment being with you guys too. Thank you very much. Thank you, audience. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And thank you, Lucas, and thank you, Stacie, for joining us today. Stay on. I'm just going to close the YouTube and say goodbye to everyone who's on our YouTube channel, and goodbye.
Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.